Lamer Gamers. This is Lamer Travis and
Rowdy 5000
for the Lamer Gamers podcast. In today's episode, we're going to try to catch up with the gaming news of April after it fooled us into thinking this month would be calm, refreshing, and fun.
Would you call it an April Fool's?
I will definitely not call it fun because we are so tired, guys.
Oh, so tired.
Anyway, but we have lots of coffee! Or I have lots of coffee. So, hold on while we go through a dizzying variety of gaming news, ranging from the new best-selling racing game ever, Brazilian loot boxes costing more than $700,000, which sounds like something you would definitely buy from EA. Travis lays out the most intricate of conspiracy theories regarding the disappearance of Balan Wonderworld demo. E3 is actually happening, but missing a couple of people. And a bevy of Xbox news. Now, what's a bevy? I have no clue.
It's about two.
It's about two news. Yeah.
If somebody asked you, it's two.
Gotcha. Well, we'll talk about the games that we've been playing, and we'll follow this up with a special bonus points where we asked a bunch of lamers on Twitter to make a prediction for the Nintendo and Microsoft rumor. All this and more coming up on the Lamer Gamers podcast.
Cue the music. Before I press the start button on the news, if you like what we're doing, don't forget to press up, down, left, right, BA, start, then like and subscribe on your current podcasting provider. Also, check out at Lamer Gamers Cast on Twitter and share the show with a lamer you know.
It's time for the Lamer Gamers News Roundup. Brought to you by ParallaxMedia.1. All right, guys. So, we are going to start this news roundup with happy news. And just so you know, there is a new king of racing games. Is it Gran Turismo? No. Is it Need for Speed? Not even close. Is it Forza? Heck no. While all those other companies were fighting for realism, they got hit by a blue shell. You can take all of your otherworldly, clean, shiny cars that go around in circles using the most technical aerodynamics and physics you could program into a game, and I'll ride around in a cart that doesn't bother with those silly laws of gravity with anthropomorphic turtle demons and gorillas dropping bananas like bombs, then trying to get in first in spite of volcanic breaking things and explosions as I fly through the air, dodging bullets and winding up bombs, all while going brrrr on Rainbow Road because Mario Kart is officially the best-selling racing game of all time, Rowdy.
So,
isn't that amazing?
What's funny about that is that I read this and I was just like, is that not... It wasn't already a thing. I just swear that I read somewhere that Mario Kart was just the best-selling racing franchise. So this doesn't really strike me as news.
That is true. This is specifically Mario Kart 8, and what makes this interesting is if we go back in time, we get a time machine. And we look at one of the larger... a lot of people suggested this, but if we go back and look on May 15th, 2014, Polygon prophesized that Mario Kart 8 will likely be the worst-selling game in franchise history. And then they, gave us reasons why. Basically, they blamed Wii U. And honestly, I think we all kind of thought that at first, even though Mario Kart 8 was amazing. And the Wii U was just such a
turd.
I love. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Wii U, but it had problems. Specifically, the fact that it was called the Wii freaking U and didn't differentiate enough from the Wii minus the U. That was the
so.
problem.
To their credit,
Okay.
Mario Kart 8 probably is the worst selling one compared to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
That could be true. I don't know if we. I didn't look that far into it, Rowdy. I could be completely wrong, but
Just want to point that out.
I could be a complete jerk for going after Polygon.
I mean, no,
And
you should definitely go after Polygon.
Oh, okay, but still, just saying, I could be wrong. I'm not above being wrong, but I think they were wrong.
Now, I think there is probably they probably do get to include Mario Kart 8 in the sales of Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
It's close. It's close enough.
But
Similar.
I mean, if you want to get technical,
Yeah, people didn't really buy that on the Wii U. I mean, mainly because the people didn't buy the Wii U. They all thought they already had one already. And, Grandma was not going to get it for you. Because you already have a Nintendo, Travis. I mean, I was old enough to buy my own, but whatever. Anyway, I'll have to tell you about my story about buying a Wii U on the top of a mountain at midnight.
side
Later
note, do you know how many how many units the Wii U sold?
At least 5.
As per Wikipedia, 13.56 million as of December 31st, 2019.
Wow. There's more people on Game Pass than that.
Let's see. And Mario Kart 8 has sold. Of
Rowdy
course,
with
it's not
his
gonna.
numbers,
Of course, it's not gonna pop up.
statistics,
I
analyzifying things,
I like seeing the numbers.
trying to use Wikipedia like a scientist.
You know what? Let's just look up how much the Switch has sold, because pretty much for every Switch, there's been.
Yeah, it's got a pretty big
Mario
attach
Kart.
rate, doesn't it? We're professional gaming news. No, actually, somebody did donate to us. Thank you, Dino, for donating us and getting us a coffee.
All right, so the Switch has sold 79.87 million units. So I'm gonna guess that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has sold what, 45 million?
45 units. Got it. Okay. All right. So it's sold a lot. Now, that being said, I kind of like this fact that they still consider it a racing game, in that people that are probably like going out and buying $200 steering wheels and stuff are probably not happy with this fact. It makes me happy for some strange reason. All right. Next up, speaking of things that make me happy for some strange reason.
Wait, I looked it up. 41.86 million copies.
Oh,
Okay.
you were close. That made me happy. Rowdy got the number. All right. Now, some interesting news from Brazil. They actually may start fining devs $706,000 per day for having loot boxes in games. Now, these are not just loot boxes. Like if you're playing Diablo 3, I consider the treasure chest loot boxes in that game, right?
Do you have to pay actual money for them?
That's the differentiation I was going to go for.
Gotcha.
So this is according to thegamer.com. In Brazil, randomized monetization is a form of gambling, and so it is illegal. If loot boxes are officially recognized as randomized monetization, then companies who implement them into video games could face fines up to $706,000 per day. Now, I find this interesting. I'm curious, what does this actually mean for gaming in the future? Because this is actually something that's starting to happen in more than one place. I know in Europe and different places, in Germany, for instance, they are making it, if you have loot boxes in your game, let's say FIFA, for instance, if you have a loot box, they now make it an 18-plus game.
Nice.
Right? So are they going to either A, start doing that, in some places more often, or are they just, will we see these game companies cut out loot boxes in the future? What do you think is going to happen there?
I personally think that they will take the 18 plus rating because look at how many kids play Grand Theft Auto 5. So
Truth.
I
Yeah,
don't really think anybody's afraid to sell an 18 plus game to children anymore. I mean, it just happens left and right. I mean, I actually just thought about that because I was like, ooh, this is pretty awesome. Brazil, they're going to open up they're going to kick your butt with Brazilian jiu-jitsu. No, this is Brazil. You know what? They're going to use capoeira and they're going to kick your butt with $706,000 per day. But
it's like the arm bar, Eventually the companies will tap, and hopefully that happens. We'll see, because they're going to have to look at it and say, okay, well, not providing this game in this company, or just making the loot boxes themselves be able to be taken out of a game. Will it make sense monetarily for them to still sell in that country? I don't think they're going to get rid of them completely, because if you look at EA, you look at NBA, the 2K series and all that stuff, it's just like loot box hellscape. So, all right, now let's go on to some very. I should have put this as happy news, but it's sprinkled with some sadness. E3 is happening, Rowdy. It's going to be digital. Okay, so who is actually going to be there? I mean, come on. I'll say this. I've been to E3. E3 is sadness whenever you really walk around it. You go to different places. They kick you out. You end up walking down a street you weren't supposed to. It smells like urine. E3 is not always the best thing to be. I accidentally punched somebody in a virtual reality testing thing. That was fun, at least. But anyway, it's going to be in a digital form. We'll be able to see it. We won't have to worry about silly news reporters going behind the curtains to find out special things nobody else gets to, because they paid lots of money for it in an advertising campaign. So we will see there between June 12th and June 15th, Nintendo, Xbox will have their big E3 thing. Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two, Warner Brothers, and our Viking overlords over at Koch Media.
It's pronounced Konami.
Whatever, Rowdy. Konami. But do you know who is not joining in the fun?
Oh, Sony.
Sony's like, nah.
So I bet Sony at least has, I don't know, a digital, like, I bet they put out some kind of like, like a highlight reel or something like that, or
oh yeah,
do like some
gonna happen.
Digital presentation. But I doubt that they have like a big showing there. I mean, they'll probably do like Nintendo's been doing the last few years. What does Nintendo have, the Treehouse events?
Oh yeah, the Treehouse thing is fun. It honestly is pretty early.
Yeah,
they could still jump back in if they realize they need to do something, and I kind of feel like that is going to be needed soon, because I think you're going to talk about it in a future episode, maybe a little today. Sony's doing a lot of shuffling, and pushing some things back, and I think some gamers are starting to get a little concerned.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that next.
Yeah. But anyway, we will also not see EA, because I guess they're trying to take their loot boxes out of Brazil. Activision and Blizzard, also loot boxitarians. Sega, Bandai Namco, and Square Enix, because they're currently making terrible games that will lose their money. Sorry, I'm bitter today.
Whatever.
April has made me bitter.
They're going to release Final Fantasy 16 and just make all the money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm waiting for them to just make Avengers free to play. I think that's what's going to end up having to happen.
Dude,
to get them some money, because that game has lost them so much money. Anyway, so there are some rumors floating around. They are generally Xbox rumors, from somebody that's, I guess, a good source of Xbox information. Very much still a rumor. Take it with a bucket of salt. Watch your sodium intake, though. And I'm going to read this from WCCFTCH.com, which has some of the worst writing. So I apologize. This writing hurts my soul. They put, add Age of Empires 4. So I guess they're going to show Age of Empires 4. And I'm confident this is their triple A quadruple punch this summer, independent whether all these 4 actually make a release this year or not. That hurts. That might be Clobrile saying this.
I had a stroke.
Yeah. Now, Clobrile said while replying to another Reset Era user who mentioned the Halo, Starfield, Forza Horizon 5 trifecta. So they are supposed to be showing Halo, Starfield, and Forza Horizon 5. Now, this is somewhat backed up by Jeff Grubb, I guess. Or I guess Jeff Grubb has been sharing lots of things, right? He expects Forza Horizon to show up this summer. I guess in a playable form. There's been a lot of rumors revolving around it being in Japan, but they're saying it's not going to be in Japan, so whatever. But I am pretty excited. They did show Age of Empires 4 the other day as a debut. I don't know if they released a date for it yet. There have been rumors that Starfield's actually going to happen this year, which I doubt.
Yeah, I highly doubt Starfield's coming out this year. I bet they'll probably show parts of the game. They'll probably show you stuff from the game, but I doubt it comes out.
Yeah. So that could be interesting. I'm excited about E3. We'll see what happens. It's not. It's the future is murky. Right? We have our magic lane ball. All right, next up.
I guess I could talk about that PlayStation stuff real quick.
Tell us some PlayStation's.
I didn't really write anything down for this, but it's.
I mean, you have very angry text messages you sent me.
Yeah, we'll go into more of it a little later, but basically the short and skinny of it is that PlayStation is doing a little bit of reshuffling. It looks like they're trying to focus more on big picture type games, basically the Hollywood blockbuster type games. And those games are always made by Naughty Dog. So apparently this was rumored to begin with, but has, pretty much been confirmed, not officially, that Naughty Dog will now be working on a Last of Us remake. That is correct. The absolutely almost flawless Last of Us, still to this day almost flawless, is getting a remake. It doesn't need one at all.
So here's my question, Rowdy.
Okay.
What was The Last of Us released on?
PS3 and PS4.
Okay, so it was released on the PS4.
Well, it was released on the PS3, and then they did a remaster on the PS4, and now they're doing a remake for PS5.
There's a remaster. So this is a remake. It's not a remaster.
Yes, this is a remake. This is a ground-up remake.
Are they, when you say ground-up remake, do you mean from the ground up, or are they going to take everything that you loved from the first game and grind it up into some sort of mushy mash that you don't recognize anymore?
God, I hope not.
It'll just be gray.
We actually don't even need this. This game came out in 2013. It's almost 10 years old and still holds up so well. Granted, does show its age a little bit, but it's still such a good game.
I don't see why, if it's on a PS4, I don't see why they don't. Now, I could be wrong with how the architecture of the PlayStation works, but couldn't they just essentially make a PS4 Pro update to it?
They already did the PS4 Pro update for the remastered version.
Okay.
But
did they add HDR and all? 'Cause, this is the thing that I don't get with whenever you're talking about redoing a complete game. Whenever don't people want something new?
So that's kind of a touchy subject with people after The Last of Us Part 2. So I don't know. I think Sony feels that they need to go back to the beginning and be like, "Hey, everybody, you remember how good this game was?" Before they start working on a Part 3.
Now, didn't they get rid of another zombie game?
Yeah, another touchy subject with me. Last year, one of my top 5 games, Days Gone, came out. It was put out by Sony Bend Studios. It's one of their first-party in-house studios. The main 3 being, I think it's Sony Santa Monica, Sony Bend, and Naughty Dog. I think are the main big ones. Sony Santa Monica does God of War. Naughty Dog does the Uncharted and Last of Us series. Well, Sony Bend did Days Gone, and I thought was a very good game. Was kind of glitchy at the beginning, but they released an update, and it was amazing after that. I mean, I probably put 60 hours into that game.
And your motorcycle in a tree.
Yes, that happened within like the first day or two.
Yeah.
And I was a little worried. But yeah, after that after the first big update, that stopped happening. I'm sure it happened to a lot more people. But didn't happen to me again. But it was an amazing game. The story, it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, leaves it open for a part 2. I was super happy about it. Well, as of right now, again, they haven't officially said it, but you can find an interview for the director, creator of Days Gone. You can find a podcast he was on basically saying that if you like a game, buy it at full price, or you may not get sequels. Because Sony Bend apparently has not been given permission to do Days Gone 2, but has now been tasked with making the next Uncharted game, a series that is normally made by Naughty Dog. So we're getting a Last of Us Part 1 remake and a new Uncharted game. Both Naughty Dog games, both blockbusters for the PlayStation, both system sellers. I mean, if you look at how many copies The Last of Us and Uncharted 4 sold, it's pretty ridiculous. And the way that Uncharted 4 ended, Nathan Drake basically got older and older as the series went on. And when Uncharted 4 ended, he was gray-haired and had a teenage daughter. So the next Uncharted may not fully or Nathan Drake may not be the main character. So I don't know what they're trying to do. I'm going to go ahead and blame Jim Ryan because
it's all his fault.
Well, ever since Sean Layden stepped down and Shuhei Yoshida took more of a what's the best way? He's more of like a third party liaison kind of person now. I haven't been as excited about a lot of the first party games. You know, Jim Ryan seems more about putting out, you know, the big blockbusters. Which, don't get me wrong, I play the big blockbusters, but I also want some of the other games. So
yeah, something to keep you interested in between.
Get your stuff together. Get your stuff together, Jim Ryan. I'm still going to play your stupid Last of Us remake. And I'm going to love it, but I'm going to gripe the whole time.
So I think this goes into a lot of I've said earlier this year, 2021 is the year of remasters or the year of rose-colored glasses gaming for Xbox.
Dude, everybody's playing catch up.
It is, and there's nothing really super exciting happening on the first party realm that we know of yet. Maybe there will be come around Christmas. But the thing with it's been an interesting difference between the PlayStation's approach for 2021 and the Xbox's approach. It does feel a little bit like PlayStation is scrambling. They don't really have a whole lot of reason to, as long as they actually release good games, right? I just think a lot of people are starting to get tired of waiting and not having news. I think if they release some news about it, people will be cool with it, right?
I mean, my thing is, I just want new games, man. Like, I understand. So COVID kind of messed everything up for everybody.
Yeah.
It slowed everything down, and I understand. And like, I understand why like Game Pass is such a good value, but I've played so many of those games already.
Oh yeah.
Like, I need the new games. I don't have much time to play video games because I work so much. I need the new ones.
So they are starting to party up with some of these third-party games to release on Game Pass too lately. We just saw that with like Outriders recently, which had some issues at first, but it's actually pretty fun. I did fight a giant volcano spider the other day.
Dude, I wish that you would have just stopped at I fought a giant volcano.
I fought a volcano. It felt like it, Rowdy. But as a Series X owner that is relatively new to the Xbox world, and I could see this as somebody, if you were not involved with Xbox One because it was a colossal failure of a console, and you only stuck with PlayStation 4, but it almost feels like the equivalent of a loot box every day. There's something that they're doing with boosting frame rates of games from Xbox One. There's HDR being added to so many things. There are upgrades to games all the time because they're really easy to do. Game Pass gives you something like every other week pretty much. You have third parties on the horizon that are dropping things. Anything on Game Pass that you try out has like if you want to keep it, you actually you pay less for it. If you're on Game Pass, which has caused a lot of... It's actually been a big thing with these third parties now because they're making not only the money up front from Microsoft, but their sales go up after it hits Game Pass because people are wanting to keep some of these games.
Do you remember the name of that? It was on Game Pass or still may be on Game Pass. It was a game where you rode on a BMX bike. And you rode downhill. Descent.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude that or one of the director, creator, I don't know, was talking about how their sales skyrocketed thanks to Game Pass. So I was going to bring up, like you were talking about how you get a discount for the games if you have Game Pass, because they're eventually going to take some of that stuff off. So I mean,
yeah, absolutely,
it'd be nice to keep it, like, because you get halfway through The Witcher and then they take the game off of there. Come on, but no.
Well, they also don't give you all of the DLC too, so you have to buy the DLC, and that's how they get a lot of people. Like if you go for The Witcher and you like The Witcher and you want to play the DLC content, oh well, I can pay, $10 for all the DLC.
Well, dude, have you seen how much the EA games cost if you have the what is it, the EA Pass or whatever it's called?
Nah.
Dude, all right. So, like,
well, I mean, Game Pass has EA Play now. That's also built in.
Let's say a game costs $40. If you have EA Play, you could buy the game for $35.
Oh, well, yeah.
You get like a $5 discount when you pay. I mean, outside of Game Pass, I don't know how much it costs, but we'll say $10 a month. Ugh, get out of here, EA.
Yeah. Anyway, so I do find it interesting right now what we're seeing. I know Sony is trying to make a Game Pass competitor, which I think we'll go over here in just a little bit, what they're doing when we actually get to the Game Pass and PlayStation Now. What, Rowdy, I don't know what subscriptions of PlayStation. But
yeah, I'll go over it when we get there.
yeah, let's put on some tinfoil hats, Rowdy.
Dude, I can't wait.
All right, so I feel like we need spoopy music right here. Is there any way we can get spoopy music for this section?
Imagine circus music playing right now.
All right, so it's time for a Lamer Gamer's conspiracy theory. The claim: Balan Wonderworld demo has been taken down due to issues with motion sickness. But that's not really what's happening. But before we tell you what's really happening, let's read this article. The Balan Wonderworld demos will be taken down. The announcement came from the official Balan Wonderworld Twitter account, revealing that the console versions of the demo will be removed on April 14th. Also, Steam demos will be removed on April 15th. If you got fancy, happy little costumes, they will be distributed upon playing the demo later on. Anyway, now, player, what is happening supposedly, according to the mainstream media, is that the game first apparently did not have a warning for triggers for seizures. And since they patched it, it has made people dizzy from motion sickness. But do you know what really is happening, Rowdy?
No.
It just sucks! There's nothing good about the game. Metacritic hovers somewhere between 35 and 50 out of 100 between all versions of this game. The demo is actually hurting game sales because they can't trick you into buying this steaming pile of garbage Wonderland. So, that's what's really happening.
I was going to say that. I just didn't want to ruin your spiel.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so that's actually what's happening. The demo sucks. Nobody wants to play this game.
Yeah,
and
dude.
It's just been complete garbage. And if you read the reviews, you'll see it. Now, this has been a problem in the past, and that's generally why companies don't make demos, unless for certain reasons. You know, there's been research, I think, somewhere in the early 2010s that it actually will do more good to just release a trailer for a game than a trailer and a demo. You would see like 100 or 200,000 more sales if you did not include the demo. Now, demos do work occasionally, though. You know, you're actually seeing that a lot nowadays on RPGs, and you get to play through the first act because they get their hooks into you, right?
Oh,
also, yeah, and you see that in MMOs too. Like you can play World of Warcraft up to I think level 20 before you actually had to pay money. You know, so there's some reasons for demos, but Balan Wonderworld just sucks.
I want to point out a couple of facts about this game real quick.
Facts.
Did you know
real facts
that Balan Wonderworld was created by the guy who created Sonic the Hedgehog?
I could see that.
So basically trying to, make the next big game. And so there is actually the company that published this, a big name company, trying to hop on there, trying to get the next Sonic. This is a Square Enix game.
Yeah. Square Enix game.
Yeah, so that's
it's another pile of garbage put out by Square Enix.
Bunch of doo-doo. I mean, if you want to get technical, Avengers is by Crystal Dynamics.
Published by Square Enix.
Exactly. Not created by Square Enix.
Does Square Enix own Crystal Dynamics?
I don't think so. Because, Crystal Dynamics are the people who make the new Tomb Raider games.
Okay, maybe. All right. Anyway. All right, so that's my conspiracy theory. I think the game just sucks, and that's the real reason why they took it off the market. I think it has nothing to do with motion sickness at all. Okay, I'm going to hit you with a bevy. It's time for a bevy, Rowdy, which is 2. But there are more than 2 here, so I think you lied to me.
There are 2 news.
There are 2 news. That's all. That's all you get. All right, Xbox updates. They are going to have the Edge browser coming soon to the Xbox. Discord will work on the Edge browser. If you don't know what the Edge browser is, I mean, you can. It's new Internet Explorer basically. It actually runs pretty well. It's based off of Chrome. All right, next up.
Just be a normal guy and use Chrome.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to save the second one for our next segment. Also, you now no longer have to pay for Xbox Live to play free-to-play games on the Xbox.
I didn't know this was a thing, and I'm pretty sure that. I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I bet Sony and Nintendo you have to pay to play your free-to-play games.
Nope, it's free on there. Xbox is the furthest behind on this.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah, there was a couple months ago when Xbox was trying to raise the price of gold to make it to where you would want to buy Game Pass instead, and people were griping about this, so they were like, oh yeah, we're going to make it all free for free-to-play games. You want to play Fortnite? You can play Fortnite for free. Yeah. So that's happened. Next up, Discord has officially escaped the acquisition monster Microsoft. So that's fun. They are not being bought. Talks have ceased. They have escaped fully intact. However, they are going to sell themselves to somebody else eventually because Discord wants to make some money while they're way overvalued.
The moolah.
Yeah. And a surprising one, Rainway. If you don't know anything about Rainway is this company that has for years pitched game streaming on the Switch, on your computer to computer, on your cell phones, and they released a ton of half-baked products that didn't work. And if I remember correctly, they did get a ton of investor money to release Rainway on the Switch, so you could essentially play your PC games on the Switch using their service, and it never happened. Well, apparently Rainway has been they haven't been taken by said acquisition monster from Microsoft, but they do definitely have a tendril or tentacle attached to the back of their skull. Let's making them work for them.
Let's leave those appendages out of this.
Okay, well, yeah. Anyway, so Rainway actually helped develop the xCloud thing, the whole streaming service that is part of Game Pass. And now xCloud has officially hit the browser. I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later today because I was allowed in. They let me in the browser. The beta rowdy.
Did you know that if you look up at certain times of the day, you could actually see the xCloud?
You can. It will get you.
Next story.
Next. Hey, it's time for the Cyberpunk's complaint department because it seems like there's something to complain about Cyberpunk every week. I have a complaint.
What's that?
If you people hate Cyberpunk so much, why did you buy 13.7 million copies of this game? Bad consumer. Bad Travis. Wait, I bought it. Crap.
Yep.
Yeah, I bought it for cheap. Okay, so this is the thing that, I've seen a lot of news articles lately that they are trying to make Cyberpunk into a game that people will be buying 5 years from now. Not because it will finally be good 5 years from now, but they are going to turn it into something like Grand Theft Auto 5, where they're still kind of having content. They'll have a spinoff online, all this other wildness. And it will eventually be so good that people will buy millions and millions of copies. But 13.7 million people have bought this game, and everyone complained about it. Stop complaining.
But it still sold a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're just making them want to make more half-baked games.
So real quick, they actually, I don't know for how long, but they've stopped trying to make the online portion of it.
Yes.
For now.
Yeah, I think they'll bring it back.
But I mean, look, I gotta kind of play devil's advocate here because CD Projekt Red, I mean, they're still putting out support for Witcher 3. I mean, Witcher 3 is getting a Series X and PS5 update. And if you owned The Witcher 3 for either of those consoles, you get the new version. So, I mean, Cyberpunk just needed more time in the oven.
And that is true, and everybody was just driving them crazy until they released it. And it's honestly, the core of it's a good game. I'm complaining a little bit, but honestly,
I was going to say, with all that being said, and with all of my praise for CD Projekt Red, I haven't bought that game yet.
Yeah, because you can't, because it's not available on the PlayStation.
I mean, you can still buy a physical copy.
Oh, you can? They didn't yank that stuff off the store shelves?
Yeah, you can find them on Amazon.
Ah, okay. Sounds shady.
I mean, it might be leftover copies, but you can still find it.
Leftover copies. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Game Pass and whatever the PlayStation subscription news is now because Travis can't remember. Game Pass. God, I told y'all there's a bevy of Xbox news. I apologize.
Hey, I was just thinking, I want to try to buy a Discord for a bevy of dollars.
You should buy it for $2. Anyway, Game Pass now has... It's been announced that somewhat unofficially there are 23 million subscribers. Now, this comes from Jez Corden of Windows Central, which if you know who Windows Central is, they're basically like an advertising media outlet for anything Microsoft related. Because they also have said tendril in the back of their head writing things. That's how Microsoft works. Anyway, they also predict that Game Pass will have 30 million subscribers by the end of 2020, further feeding this massive acquisition blob.
Hey, real quick, 2020 is over.
I'm sorry, 2021. I can't write things. They went back in time. All right. Next up, there is going to be a competitor soon to Game Pass. Sony admits all their shuffles. They're very good at shuffling. I'm actually pretty terrible at shuffling personally. But they can do like the regular shuffle. They can do that weird like flip-flop shuffle. You know, all those fancy type of shuffles at PlayStation or at Sony. But they are now announcing a video pass that they are testing out in Poland. Rowdy, do you want to read through that and maybe you have more information than I do? I know you have been closer to this machine. I think you've synchronized with it more than I have.
You know what? Here's the deal. I was going to read this, but let me just you know what? I'm going to wing it. You know what? You want to compete with Game Pass, but you want to give us a video service, you know, like the ones that we already have, like Netflix, like Hulu, like Amazon Prime, like HBO Max, and you want to start off by saying, oh, you could watch Venom. Venom,
not poison. Venom and poison are different things.
Venom. You know how bad that movie was?
That's Dark Spider-Man.
You know how
Symbiote.
Dude, that movie was so bad, my cell phone company gave me that movie for free.
Oh.
Yes, my cell phone company gave me that movie. Gave it to me.
I'm looking at the list of movies that they put on this article because it's saying at launch, the service includes 15 movies and 6 television shows from Sony's picture catalog. And they start with Venom. That is the first one they mention, followed by Blade Runner 2049, which, wow.
Great movie. Waited too many years to put it out.
They should have put that one first. And then they put Baby Driver.
Let's not go into Baby Driver.
Was that also by... Who was the actor in that?
Kevin Spacey.
Oh, I don't know what that movie is. In my head, it's just this guy's driving around babies.
No, Baby Driver is actually a really good movie. It was directed by Edgar Wright, the guy who did the Cornetto trilogy, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead.
Oh,
those movies. It actually is a really good movie. It's just stained by Kevin Spacey.
Gotcha. I thought it maybe was like a Mario Kart thing with babies and strollers.
No, it's just this dude who he's a really young getaway driver for bank robbers.
They take out their pacifier like it's a grenade and throw it, and it explodes. That's what this should have been. All right, that should be the new PlayStation game to compete with Mario Kart 8, which is the best-selling racing game of all time. They also have a rival.
I don't know what that is.
No clue. But you know where they're testing this game?
Poland.
Or this system? In Poland. I guess
so,
for reasons.
So here's
they
the deal.
said it's the perfect market, Rowdy.
I want to point something out to you. And while I'm saying all this, I am a diehard Sony fanboy. But if I didn't have any consoles, and I was going to try to buy a console, and there was some kind of subscription service, and I could play either, the next Elder Scrolls on my, next gen top of the line console, or I could take my other next gen top of the line console and watch Venom. Are you kidding me? Now, with all that said, you know that Venom, they're actually making a Venom 2 based on how much money that movie made in China alone.
I don't doubt this. Maybe this will be a side quest for another day. There are a lot of movies that do really well in China, and a lot of times you can tell the difference for these films that do well around the world based on the reading comprehension level of the script.
Gotcha.
If you lower the reading comprehension level to like a third grade level, it is so much easier to translate. So generally these movies that are made for being put all across the world are essentially kind of dumbed down. I actually saw that with we were watching Midway the other day, which is a Pacific Theater World War II history kind of movie, but I was just watching it and listening to the way it was written. I was like, oh, this hurts my brain. It was cool. It had some historical stuff, but it was like they were written by third graders. So, and it was provided, a lot of the money for the movie came from China for that one.
Verizon Wireless gave me Venom for free.
Yeah.
All right, so those are my thoughts on PlayStation's whatever it's called, PlayStation Plus Video Pass. You get it apparently free for a year, and then it's going to start costing. But we'll see how long that lasts because I'll just use Netflix.
Yeah. I've actually been using a lot of Discovery Plus. I really like that one. Because I'm a nerd.
Got that free from Verizon as well.
Oh, that's cool. It's great. That's actually my favorite one, and it's cheap, and I can watch documentaries. Okay, next one. Just general Game Pass releases. So they have a lot of things that are coming soon or have been released already. So things that have already been released, they've added to the cloud this Disneyland Adventures game, a bunch of the stuff that's already on Game Pass for console. But now you can give your kids a phone or a tablet, and they can play things on Game Pass for free. On
like Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't think they can play that on cloud yet. It's not on cloud yet, though.
It says cloud and console.
Does it yet? Oh, I didn't scroll down there yet. Good Lord. Yeah, you're right. Have your children play Grand Theft Auto 5s and be terrible parents. Thank you. Next. they released NHL 21, the show 21, which was actually a big thing in the news because if I remember correctly, the show has been a pretty Sony-centric game.
I mean, it has been only on Sony consoles until this year, and it comes out on Game Pass the first year. It's out on Xbox.
Yeah, on cloud and console. So you can get your fix on a freaking cell phone now. And I don't know how, I haven't played it, but don't you have to like hit a button in a really specific time to hit a baseball?
Oh, I don't know. I've never played one.
I don't know. not much of a fan. Anyway, next up, Rain on Your Parade, which is on cloud, console, and PC. Fun little game. You go around as a cloud and you rain on everybody's day, and you might kill some people by accident. It's fun. If you like Donut County, which we talked about in our last side quest episode, you will probably like Rain on Your Parade. It's similar in some ways where you're just ticking everybody off in a town. I've had a little bit of fun with it. It is also a game that works really well on the cloud. On PC, they've added Pathway. I don't know much about that game. On cloud and console, Grand Theft Auto 5 is back again because Rockstar needed some money, apparently.
No, they don't.
They don't need any money. Then Zombie Army Dead War 4 is out on cloud, console, and PC. I haven't downloaded. I haven't played it yet. You've played that recently, haven't you? Is that on a subscription service?
I got it through PlayStation Plus, which means which means I actually own the game now, technically.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So you'll have to tell me about it in a minute. I want to play it. Also, now they have coming soon. They've added a lot of things to the cloud. The Fable Anniversary Edition, Fable 3, and now they're going to have a new game called Second Extinction coming to the pass, I believe, on the 28th of April, which is coming to the cloud, console, and PC, where you are essentially playing 3-player Turok.
Dude, yes.
I want to play this so bad. I don't know. Is it on Sony? Or is it I thought it was exclusive. It could be wrong.
I mean, I the first time I saw it was on the... I don't know, one of the Xbox showcases, so it's probably an exclusive.
I hope not, because we need to play this, Rowdy.
Or at least a timed exclusive, probably.
Yeah, maybe. They're also adding Destroy All Humans. They had a remake of that a while back. So that's coming to cloud, console, and PC. And then coming to PC, Phogs. That's Phogs.
I thought that said Thoughts.
It's going to PC as Thoughts. They're already there. Shouldn't have made that joke. Anyway, that dog monstrosity kind of looks like my dog Short Stack. It's very long.
It's almost like Cat Dog.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk about where the real meat of Xbox gaming is nowadays. Games with gold.
Ooh.
If you didn't get that, that's the joke. Because it is a joke now. They just need to get rid of it. So, they have some wonderful games. Vikings, Wolves of Midgard is actually a good game. I can't say that one's a bad one. It is a Diablo-like game that involves Vikings doing Diablo-like things. I can't play it around my wife because the wolves, when you kill them, it sounds too real, she said. So, be wary. If you're with PETA, don't play that game. Next up, Dark Void. It's an old Capcom game from the 360. And Hard Corpse Uprising. I haven't played either of them, but I own them.
Real quick, Dark Void was a very old Capcom game. And about the mid-2000s, all of these people were trying to, or at least Capcom, I know for sure, was redoing a bunch of games and putting them on the 360. It looks like their
redo of Bomberman.
Well, Dark Void was one of those remakes, and as well as like Bionic Commando, and like a lot of those games flopped. Now, Hardcore Uprising, it is pronounced core. I have gotten jumped on before because I pronounced it corpse. Hardcore Uprising is Contra.
It looked Contra-y.
So on Sega years ago, they had Contra Hardcore come out. This is spiritual successor to Contra Hardcore, and it's just called Hardcore Uprising. It is Contra in all but name. You should play it. I think it's really fun.
All right. Rowdy gives his stamp of approval. And speaking of definitely not having a stamp of approval, it's time for the best game, the most expensive free game on here. This is a $60 game called Truck Racing Championship. And we have, Rowdy, I'm making some music for this tomorrow. So we're going to need to tap some music in here because this is going to be super official. It's time for a Lamer Gamers Review Bomb. Lamer Gamers present the segment where we talk about terrible reviews. This is Lamer Gamers Review Bomb! All right.
Dun, 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 dun.
1, 2, 3, clap. All right. We'll see if that gets edited out. Anyway. All right, guys. So it's time to read some review bombs. Now, I am going to have to very cleverly disguise some of these words. So if you hear something that sounds off, it's because it's a cuss word or a very innuendoed innuendo. So we are going to go through some of these, and Rowdy, I have 2 that I want you to definitely read, but I want to tell you how good this game is, Rowdy, and I'm going to tell you it through review bombs, which if you don't know what a review bomb is, guys, it is whenever somebody writes a 1 or 0 star review that is absolutely terrible. But I wanted to start with a good one first, just for some contrast, Rowdy. Here is from Racecar013, which, I mean, with a name like Racecar013, you know they know racing games.
I mean, it's in their name.
It's in their name. And they probably don't play Mario Kart 8, because them's not a real racing game. Anyway, their review is titled, Hop In, that's actually the letter N, You Are Truck in Race. And there is no I in that N either. 5 stars. Great racing fun in a semi. It takes some getting used to. When you get it down, it's very satisfying.
I just had a semi-stroke.
All right, next up is, let's get to the bombs. First up is Toxic Cleric, which they're obviously toxic because their name does that sort of back and forth punk capitalization thing.
And they have 2 X's in their name.
2 X's. The title is just wow. My expectations were low, but holy asterisks.
Poop.
Yeah, we're going to say that's what it is. Back to pinball.
Wow.
I'm trying to figure out the combination between truck racing, being a toxic cleric, and pinball here.
I mean, there's a game there.
Don't understand that one. All right, so next one up is Rising Phoenix 98. And this one seems very serious, Rowdy. So
okay.
This is going to be a very serious review. The review is titled, Just Another Basic Racing Game. Not even worth free. All right, it's time for the review. There is no excitement to this game. The graphics are flat. The trucks are all the same except paint. How long is the tutorials for controls that literally anybody who ever has played any racing game knows? Even the title seems like a placeholder. End scene. Thank you.
You know what? Why don't you take a back seat for a second? I'll grab these next couple.
I think you got to have these next ones.
All right. So next up, by Wyatt3963, the title is Bad Game, and they gave it 1 star. And their review reads as follows: Poo.
Glorious. I mean, just verbose and well explained.
And that was it. Yeah, that's the review.
1-star review, 1-word review.
So I'm going to go ahead and guess this next person's name is pronounced Baby Asher.
Okay.
Because I can speak Leet.
Oh, yes.
And the title of theirs is Poop. And their review reads as follows. Poop. My truck drifts too much.
There's a lot of O's. There's a lot of O's there. Apparently, their truck be drifting, Rowdy. All over the road.
Trucks do tend to drift.
Trucks do drift. And we have to read this next one at the same time when I get to it. This is from EVIGN 420. That's definitely an Xbox name. The review is titled Boring, and the actual review is
lame.
Yeah, it's. I figured that's how we need to read those in the future. Next one is core. There's so many. There's capitals in places. Now I have concerns about this one because I don't really want to.
Are you ready? So real quick. That name, I guarantee you, this person's name is Alan.
Yeah, his name is Alan.
But this is pronounced Core Challenger.
Yeah, so I have concerns about review bombers, the people that go out and put these 1-star reviews, because they tend to have some sort of issue with putting parts of themselves into dangerous things like wood chippers or spikes or being eaten by 1,000 sharks. So I'm going to try to read this as safely as I can. So the title is Garbage, and the actual review is Hot Garbage. I would rather relate a wood chipper than get paid to play this game again.
Then get paid to play the game again.
Yeah, so that was my thought. I saw the word paid. And I was like, oh, this is a reviewer that got sent a free game. I bet they write for Kotaku. Oh, that just seems like something a Kotaku writer would say. Oh, God. Why am I so angry today? It's because April's been a bad month. Okay, next up. Ja Crispy 0303. These just get worse. This is where it's going downhill, guys. At least they have a fun word for the title. Absolute buffoonery.
Oh, you know what?
I don't know if I can read it.
Don't read this one.
I don't know if I can read it.
Don't read this
If you get a chance, just go into the Xbox store and read the reviews, guys. This one involves grinders and semi-trucks.
Cousins.
And mildly spherical objects. Cousins? Yeah.
Yeah.
And slipping around on tile floors. That's
We'll just not read that
just
one.
Put them all together and come up with that in your imagination. I'm clipping hard today, Rowdy. You're going to have to get that clipper just up and running. All right. Well, the reason why I had this one is because it connects to the next one. So this one is Moby Revive, but it has a 3 in there. It has a capitals and uncapitals. Uncapitals, that's a new word. It says,
Wow. Uncapitals. Wow.
Lowercase. Fun fact. Lowercase and uppercase are actually named that due to whenever they printed newspapers, they would keep the lowercase ones that are not capital letters on the lowercase of the drawer when they had to actually put them together, and the capital letters on the uppercase. All right, now that I've had that fun little intellectual time, let's go lose brain cells. All right. Moby Revive says, it hurts to play. Now, this was reviewed yesterday. There's a lot of misspellings.
Be very careful while reading this one.
I know, Rowdy. I'm going to try. At this point, I'm a settlement for the pain I went through to this point. I agree with the guy that said he would rather do all the things I couldn't tell you in the last review. Matter of fact, I can't finish this one either. Good Lord.
I would rather steal Osiris's.
Don't go into it. They're doing bad things, And these are the kind of problems these people have that review bomb. They have some major concerns of mine. I worry about these people. I can't read the next one.
Wow.
By Seductive Lumps, Rowdy.
Yes, that's awesome. That is
do you expect to read a review from Seductive Lumps? It sane.
I absolutely would, but I just want to point out that the title of theirs is Terrible.
Terrible.
Not terrible. Terrible.
We can read like 5 words from this review. It says
Turk go
burr and scam with all the M's. I'm dying looking at this. Guys, I'm just going to say it references memes from the new Resident Evil. That's all I can figure out on how to explain this one to you. I don't even know why.
Oh, man.
All right. Those are the worst. I think we can read these last 2.
We're at Kratos.
Kratos, and it's spelled all sorts of wrong.
Trucks on ice.
Trucks on ice. So the thing that I love about this review is that it's trucks on ice, but their actual review has nothing to do with trucks on ice. They say,
you are correct.
Random curse word, I don't know, it's bleeped out, handling. Every turn feels like a bike trying to turn on a road covered in sand.
But
where's the
they
ice?
Just talked about trucks on ice. But now we're bikes on sand.
I think this review was affected by climate change.
Must control bad.
Yeah. Went from ice to sand real quick, guys. All right. All right. This one, I think, actually gives us a reason to see why the game is bad. Infernal Chalk 91. I'm trying to figure out, is that like an item in Dungeons and Dragons?
No idea.
The teacher wrote with infernal chalk. It says $60. Are you on illicit drug? I can't say what that drug was. This game has the quality of a $10 game, $20 max. The controls are a little difficult. It forces you to be in first person and no button to switch it. But they have the audacity to have a button for the blankety blank windshield wipers.
Wow.
If you're getting this game free, go ahead. But if it's a normal $60 price, then I warn you right now, save your money. That is, I don't even feel like that's a review bomb. I feel like that one is somewhat honest.
Wow.
More games need windshield wiper buttons, Rowdy.
Dude, this kind of reminds me of how, every year Monster Energy drinks will put out some kind of game.
Oh, yeah.
That sells for,
motocross.
It's always like a motocross or, some type of extreme sports or, monster trucks. And they always sell for full price.
Hey, you know what I forgot to do?
What's that?
I forgot to write down who the lamer of the week, but you know what? I'm giving it to Jaw Crispy, Moby Revived, and Seductive Lumps this month for making me not be able to read their freaking review bombs because they were so horrendous and terrible. Y'all three are the lamer of the week. I think out of those 3, it's going to Moby.
I could agree with that one.
Yeah, lamers of the week. We're giving it to reviewers.
All right, man. Well, you want to take a break and we'll get to
lamer
the
gamers
we've been playing?
Yeah. I think I need a break, Rowdy. I need a break.
All right, we'll be back after the break. Lamer Gamers Playing Games is brought to you by... Actually, we don't have a sponsor.
We should make one up.
We should make one up. It's brought to you by
Big Trucks. It's a game where there's lots of racing and trucks, and people just do terrible things when they talk about it in reviews. All right, that's
when playing this game is like driving your truck on ice whenever you ride your bike on sand.
yeah, 10 out of 10.
All right, so this is the
sponsored by Monster Energy drinks.
Oh.
Not us. We would never do that. Give me some coffee. Give me a coffee sponsor.
I don't know, man. Depends on how much money they want to pay me.
Yeah, we are cheap. I mean, we both work in professions that they need to pay more.
Right.
Anyway.
So this is the part of the podcast where we talk about the games we've been playing. And I actually have quite a few that I've been playing recently. I actually beat Bravely Default 2 on the Switch. Great game. Great RPG. If you enjoyed the first one, you know what? You should play it even if you didn't play the first one.
Good to know. I need an excuse to play the Switch, and Monster Hunter is one of those.
I haven't played as much Animal Crossing, but I have been playing that as well. The game that I've been playing the most, Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town.
Ooh, what is it on? Is it on the box? I will find out while you're talking about it.
Is what it's on? No. It's on Switch.
Dang it! Oh well, that's actually good. I can still play on the TV while my wife plays this game.
So I will point out that Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town will be a game that your wife steals from you.
That's fine. So, I'll give her the Switch, and then I have. After she tries to play it 23 hours straight, like she did with one of those other games, I will have to steal it from her.
It is very Stardew Valley-esque. As a matter of fact, this is actually back when I did my a couple of podcasts ago when I talked about the difference between Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons now, and how Story of Seasons is the original makers of Harvest Moon, and the new Harvest Moon games are not the people who made original Harvest Moon games, so you should play the Story of Seasons games. Yeah, I stand by that 100%. This game is absolutely amazing. I have a goat named Dookie, and he's awesome. I also have a llama named Burrito. What else is there? I have a bevy of chickens.
So you have 2.
No, I actually have 7 chickens. Oh. And their names are Ranch, Wing, Habanero, Korean Barbecue. Oh my God! They're all
little
hot wing
did
names.
Any of you know that we were going to do a hot wing review in the middle of a gaming podcast with imaginary chickens, but you should have expected this.
Oh, there's also Cajun Dry Rub. That's one of the names of my chickens. I have a buffalo named Buffalito. Because he was a little buffalo.
But now he is not.
Now he's not an Ito. Now he's just Buffalo. My other buffalo is named Pizza because it was Buffalo Pizza. Yeah, so I've got all these animals, and I make all these crops, and I have to go into the mines and mine the iron and gold and silver and all the orichalcum. I have to chop down all the trees. I have a freaking wolf.
I love this review.
I could ride a wolf.
I could true. So it's Twilight Princess.
I could buy a unicorn. I have a moped.
Well, dude. Now you just sound like somebody I'd meet on the streets in Austin. I mean,
now I will say that once you get fairly far in this game and you have built up your farm, it does run slow.
I ran into that with Forager. It's a game that's kind of not exactly a Stardew Valley game. It's very much as if the Industrial Revolution met Stardew Valley.
Okay.
And once you get all your machines running, it will make things interesting. If you haven't played Forager, Rowdy, you need to go play Forager.
I probably do, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But Story of Seasons, I cannot stress how much I love this game. It is absolutely amazing. It is for everyone. Let your kids play it. You're going to enjoy it. Dude, I make so much money. I take it back. They're not llamas, they're alpacas. I lied and I'm sorry.
The llama lobby will be very upset with you.
I make so much money off of my alpaca wool. But I could talk about this game all day, so I'm going to go ahead and move on.
All right, what else have you been playing?
So after that, I played the 2 games I got from PlayStation Plus this month. Oddworld Soulstorm.
Ooh.
I played this game for about 5 minutes and deleted it.
Oh.
Not that it's a bad game.
Just wasn't the vibe.
I've never been into Oddworld, and this is just a better looking Oddworld.
Okay.
So there's that. I played Zombie Army 4 Dead War. That's actually really fun. I am not a big fan of modern shooters. If I play a shooter, it has to be either based in the past or it has to be sci-fi or sci-fi fantasy. This combines both of those. It is in the past and it is sci-fi fantasy. It is, imagine World War II, but a certain somebody of the Axis powers released zombies.
Sounds about right.
It's pretty fun, man. I've got maybe about 30, 40 minutes in. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that, I think, next episode, too, because it's on Game Pass, too, and I know one of our other occasional lamers, Gunslinger and Mom have it, and I think I'm going to be visiting them soon, and we got to play that.
It's really fun, man. I'll try and play a little more of it by the next time that we record. I've had a lot of fun with it, man. World War II zombie shooter. It's right up my alley, man. So next, this is kind of, how do I explain this? I've been playing Amazon Luna. So that's Amazon's cloud service. So I got into the beta for Amazon Luna. And I actually bought the Amazon Luna controller. And I wasn't too impressed with it. I played it on my laptop. I played it on my phone. The controller is fairly responsive due to the fact that it goes through Wi-Fi instead of Bluetooth. I don't know. There's some kind of
magic.
There's an article where Amazon explains how it cuts X amount of milliseconds off due to the fact that it goes via Bluetooth. Via Wi-Fi instead of Bluetooth. Plus, I also have gigabit internet, so that might have something to do with it.
But I just fancy gigabit internet.
But
with
I just wasn't
Moon Magic console, Amazon Luna.
I just wasn't too impressed with it. Well, I went ahead and bought an Amazon Fire Stick. I have no need for an Amazon Fire Stick, but I had built up credit card points on my Amazon card, and I got it for free, basically. It was $20. I think it's like 1080p, 30 frames a second, something like that. Plugged that up to my TV and played Amazon Luna through it, and I will tell you right now that is absolutely perfect for my casual games. I played Contra, or the Contra Anniversary Series game on it, and not once did it stutter, and not once did I have input lag on the controller. So I also played No More Heroes, one of your personal favorite games.
Yeah, that's been a long time. But
and It controls very well. Granted, that was a game that had motion controls. So this time around, you just swing the joysticks in the direction it tells you. And it works very well. Now, I haven't tried any graphic-intensive games yet. I plan on trying Control on there. And there were some other ones. But what's cool about the Amazon Luna service is they have a Ubisoft channel. Now, it costs extra for your service, but if you subscribe to the Ubisoft channel, I mean, you could play Assassin's Creed Valhalla and, Watch Dogs Legion and...
Why would you want to play that?
Yeah, no, we talked a lot of trash on it, but, I mean, you can play it.
You better stop me or I'll talk trash on it for 30 more minutes. Anyway,
I mean, you could play just all these Ubisoft games on there. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that if you're a casual gamer, you should go out and get this. I'm going to do a little more research myself, but let's just say I've done almost a complete 180 when it comes to Amazon Luna when you play it on a Fire Stick, like on a TV, like with really good internet. I can't say how it will work, on the go or anything like that, but so far I'm pretty impressed with it.
Nice.
So I'm going to move on to my last one. I don't know how many of you out there know, but Nier Automata is one of my favorite games of all time. It is a game I bought on a whim.
Rowdy kept bugging me to buy this game.
Until
I did.
Good.
And then it came out on Game Pass a week later.
Yeah. It's so good. So I was a little disappointed when I couldn't go back and play the first Nier game. Well, lo and behold, we now have the first Nier game.
It is no longer far away. It is now near. Stupid.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is now an HD remaster with a little bit of extra added to it. So you could say it's in between an HD remaster and a remake. Yeah. And it is now called Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139 ... Or I guess I should say ellipses.
Yes.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. It is definitely not as polished as Nier Automata, but it is still an amazing game so far. I'm only about 2.5 hours into it. But they say that you could put upwards of 35, 40 hours into this game. And the replayability of Nier games is fairly high. Well, I don't know if I call it replayability because you have to play it multiple times to get the proper endings. But every time you play it, it's a little different. And I know that sounds weird, but you just have to play a Nier game to understand that even though it's a little bit different, it makes a huge difference to the story when you're playing it a second and third time. And I'll just leave it at that.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to hop into some cloud gaming impressions too, which is unexpected because my intense skepticism on cloud gaming being real gaming. Maybe that's a conspiracy itself. But xCloud, I happen to be let into the beta for browsers, and I think I'm running on, other than maybe my internet connection, one of the better devices to do this, or I'd hope it would be. I have a Microsoft Surface tablet because I drank that Microsoft Kool-Aid hard last year or the year before. I got an Xbox too, but to play this on an Edge browser. So all those Microsoft boxes for the Xbox xCloud are all clicked or checked off. Well, the first time I played it, it played like Stadia, but slightly better looking. Stadia, I have had issues with. I tried it for weeks. I did not enjoy it. The lag killed me on the system. And I played it through Chrome. I remember seeing that the games looked worse on Stadia than they did on regular like Xbox Ones and stuff like that. And the thing that really got me with Stadia was the fact that it was just advertised like it was God's gift to gaming coming from your Wi-Fi.
Only if you're playing Cyberpunk.
Truth. Yeah, Cyberpunk, it's legit apparently. But anyway, so on xCloud, I will say this. I have a couple tips for you. First of all, don't forget to restart your computer. Okay? You don't want to, like, I have a drawing tablet that I use on and off for work, and I had earlier in that day probably drawn for about 3 hours while streaming on Zoom simultaneously on multiple screens. Bad idea to go and try to play cloud gaming after you've done that. Let it sleep, and then put it on a table and your living room a couple rooms over from a Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz connection. But I wanted to see, could it do that right off the bat?
Did you just say 5G?
No, Rowdy. Not like the 5Gs from the air that's going to get in your brain,
You better not.
I had my tinfoil hat on. Jeez. No, my 5 gigahertz of Wi-Fi connection instead of a 2.4 gigahertz of 5 gigahertz connection. Not Rowdy. Jeez, chill out. I'm not putting microchips in your teeth today. Okay. Anyway, so I went through, restarted my computer, closed out everything I could think about, and I put it down to just the screen, because whenever I hook up to my computer, I normally have 3 screens going simultaneously, and it ran really well. I use racing games as kind of my test, racing and fighting games, to see if they're going to work. And it passed the racing game test with flying colors. I went and played Dirt 5. I played on an ice level, which slides your car everywhere. Huh?
Was it like driving your bike on sand?
It was like driving my bike on sand. No, it was worse. And I got first place in a race on a cloud-streamed game and a racing game. There's something else I like to do, which is to just kind of smack the stick one direction a bunch of times to see if it will actually turn. I couldn't get Stadia to do that. It didn't connect on those really quick movements, those kind of twitchy movements with the controller stick, but this did, and I was really surprised by that. So it seems, now I haven't tried Stadia in probably, 6 months now? Maybe they've improved since then. But xCloud worked really nicely, and I didn't feel like I was getting cheated by playing it, because I'm not having to buy these games in a separate service, because it's all part of just the other Game Pass on the Xbox. Now, I did try Control. I played that for a little bit. I'm sorry, not Control. What did I try? I tried Outer Worlds. That's what I tried. For a little bit, I did notice that it is not running off of the Series X version. It is running off the Xbox One version, because the textures were complete garbage in some areas, like absolute horrendously soft. So, but it ran well other than that. So I'm gonna try a little bit more next time. I didn't get to play a fighting game yet. I'll go through that, but right now xCloud actually looks pretty decent with a best case scenario. Where I played, I was probably 10 feet away from a 5 gigahertz router. I'm on a 200 megabits down connection with 5 or 6 megabytes up. They suggest that you have, I think, 10 megabytes down or 20 megabytes down to play it. So, and I plugged in an Xbox controller with a cord to my tablet. It seemed to work pretty well. So, if you get into the beta, which I think you just go to xbox.com/play, and you log in, and they'll basically say, nah, you can't come in, or, okay, cool. Because they're supposed to send you an email that says you're allowed to jump into the beta, and they're only doing it with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate customers. And it didn't send me that email, but I got in. I think they got tired of me trying it. So now I will say I do have a problem, Rowdy. I have a problem.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So here's my problem. There are some games that I was very excited to play a PC version of streaming. Okay, so I want to talk about my attempt to play my favorite game all time, Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, on xCloud. It was absolute total hot garbage. It was not quite as bad as playing Big Truck Championship. But why? Why do you do this? So they put the Xbox One version to play on the cloud, which is made for a controller. But if you don't have a controller, you can use touchscreen controls to emulate controls for a game that should be played with a mouse and keyboard on the cloud. It was dumb. So if you're going to expect to play games that are PC-like, if they don't have mouse and keyboard support on the Xbox, don't even bother with it. Ooh. That's all I got to say. Like, I was really annoyed by that because I was so excited. So
basically what I've got from our experiences with cloud gaming is they work well when you are right by your router and basically should just function as a console. They're so close.
Basically, I was actually kind of annoyed, and I went and played Outer Worlds because I'm still trying to finish that latest DLC, and it was so much nicer to play on the Series X, like night and day. Yeah, it's just like, man, I want to try more xCloud, but it's like, I'm only doing it for the lamers. I'm not doing it for myself. I wouldn't do that to myself. So that's xCloud. Maybe I'll play it in like a hotel room in the future when I go on a training or something. But it's part of Game Pass, so I really don't care. It's just a little extra bonus. It's a little extra goodie. It's a coconut macaroon. I don't really like coconut that much, but hey, it was included with the cake, so I guess I'll eat it occasionally. All right. Next up, I played Control Ultimate, which is a pretty freaking cool game. I think I got it for like $15 or $20.
Nice.
It's on Game Pass, the non-Ultimate version, but I wanted all the pretties. So I am playing it with the ray tracing at 30 frames per second. I've been very impressed with the shooting on this. I thought it was auto-aim, kinda. You can turn that on, but it actually is pretty quick to respond. It looks great. It runs really well at 30 frames per second with the motion blur. It kind of smooths out a lot of stuff. It is not as nice and smooth as the 60 frames per second prioritize frame rate mode, but prioritized frame rate mode does not look anywhere as good as the ray trace version. Have you have a Ultimate, don't you?
No, I just have the regular version. Wait, hang on.
Didn't they didn't give that on the PlayStation subscription thing?
Yes, I got it last month on PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
So I originally played the original version on PlayStation Now, but now I have the Ultimate version on PlayStation Plus. There we go.
So you need to go and play that, Rowdy, and check out the ray trace graphics on the PlayStation 5. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Nice.
It looks really freaking good. And because the game, I think we were talking about it, it's almost like more of a tech demo than a full game at times, it feels.
Yeah.
So, enjoy the prettiness. The gameplay is fun. I do like the fact that I can take these giant paranormal monster guys that I've shot a couple times and pick them up and throw them at a floating wheelchair monster. Because that's a thing that happens in this game. And there's a projector that brings demons from another portal. So, Control Ultimate Edition, it's awesome. I really like it. Also, to finish up things, Outriders. I've been playing that with a couple friends. I fought a giant lava spider. It doesn't work with PC yet. It might today. I don't know. There were some major issues with Outriders. It was on Game Pass, so I played the heck out of it. Then I found out there was a bug that will take everything out of your inventory.
Nice.
Everything. It will leave you naked in a field.
Looking at you,
Looking
Fallout
at
76.
giant lava spiders. Because reasons. Apparently they were going to fix the problem. I don't know if they have yet because I haven't been looking into it. But they are giving everybody back their stuff if it is better than just plain garbage. Stuff
Turns
that you're
out,
gonna keep.
lava spiders go absolutely aggro if you show up in your birthday suit.
True fact. Total fact. All right, Rowdy. I think that's it for this segment. I think it's time for some bonus points. You about ready for that?
All right.
All right, guys.
We'll be back after the break. We'll get to the bonus points.
Let's go. All right, guys, before we start giving out some bonus points, if you like what we're doing, drop on by our Twitter at LamerGamersCast and give us a follow. That way you can keep up with us because there's always something going on, like a hurricane, tropical storm, more hurricanes, snakes crawling in my dishwasher or trying to attack me while I'm mowing yesterday, a tropical storm, another hurricane. Thus keep happening. Random petrochemical plants exploding next to Rowdy House. And you can join in the fun by replying to bonus points topic we post up on Twitter. Now, guys, so we lost Rowdy. Rowdy got swept away by a series of snakes, hurricanes, and probably because dude has been working too much and is tired and needed to go eat some dinner. So it's just gonna be me as I go through these bonus points with you today. But don't worry, I do have... he did tell me what he thought about our bonus points topic. And what is our bonus points topic today? Well, apparently there is a rumor going around that Nintendo and Microsoft are teaming up. What is it for? Nobody really knows. I mean, there's no info on it, and the claim of this even happening comes from a very interesting place. This rumor has been started by a shelf. You heard that correctly. It has been started by a shelf that is behind Phil Spencer. Okay, so how does that even make sense? So what's going on is during a recent gaming event, there have been Nintendo Switches on the shelf behind where he's talking at his home. Now, this normally would make no sense for there to be a rumor spinoff from this. However, in the past, we have actually seen he actually stealthily had the Xbox Series S in the background on his shelf before anybody knew what the console was. Also, they had things teasing the new Indiana Jones games, which have been officially moved over to Bethesda. So, people kind of said, what's going on with the Nintendo Switch on the shelf? Why is it there? And it looks like, once again, Jeff Grubb, who leaks all the things apparently, said that pretty much everything on his shelves means something somewhere. Now, according to a reputable leaker, I always love these things, right? Reputable leaker. Special Ed. Special? Oh, that's what... I was reading it like it was some fancy, like, Cajun French restaurant. Special Ed. No. Special Ed says... The cat seems to be out of the bag on Nintendo and Xbox. You'll hear more in the fall. So... that is the background behind our bonus points question. So, I asked a whole bunch of lamers on Twitter to make a prediction for the Nintendo and Microsoft rumor. Here's what Rowdy thinks is happening with this potential team up based on a shelf switch. He says if it's an actual rumor, he hopes it's a Nintendo and Rare team up along the lines of a new Conker and Banjo-Kazooie, or a sequel to the best rap song based game ever, Donkey Kong 64. Now, I might have to argue a little bit with him because I actually really like that Def Jam wrestling game. So, because it was made by the people that did WCW versus NWO Revenge. But my guess is actually something way more boring. I think maybe we're going to see Nintendo start using the Azure servers for something. Microsoft has these really awesome servers that actually are used by the government for various things, the military, because of how good they are, compared to Amazon's cloud servers and Google's cloud servers. I know personally, my job has switched over to Azure servers too, and it's so much nicer. So I think something along those lines. Maybe we'll see xCloud on Switch, but I'm not really seeing that. Or they'll simply let people just log into their Xbox account to game with friends in a cross-play fashion. It's possibly likely. I could see something like that happening because I feel like they're really going hard on Sony right now. Not so much Nintendo. Nintendo, I feel like, is almost a symbiotic relationship with them. Whereas against Sony in the console war, they want to do everything to look like the anti-Sony, right? They have this subscription package. They have cross-play for anything they want, like PC. There's a lot of Nintendo games that work for it. It feels more open. It feels more friendly. They let their developers, that they acquire, do whatever they want with their money, even if they just put it in their ears and go, right? So I think something's along there. Well, let's see what the lamers say on Twitter. We'll start off with Project X Talk, which has a fantastic podcast about Xbox news, says, most likely won't happen, but it would benefit Microsoft way more than Nintendo. I could see that. Next up, we have Japan Lover 79 says, if they were to pop xCloud or Game Pass on Switch, that would be brilliant, because having access to Halo 3 on the Switch would be incredible, or Fable 2 or Fable 3. Listen, just give me Rare Replay with Viva Pinata 1 and 2 and I'll be happy, man, says Japan Lover 79. Then we have Michael Auditore. Comes in and says, Rare Replay, it's never going to be in Switch. If you want to play those games, get on Xbox or play xCloud on your smartphone. All right, then, Michael. Next up, we have Sick Boy Lounge, who is a streamer, who is also the podcast host of Dead Boy Lounge podcast. Says maybe they're letting Xbox revamp their eShop. We can hope. Yeah, Xbox. Will and Drew's Gaming Retrospective podcast says, Xbox's eShop isn't a problem, in my opinion. Nintendo's could use some help. We actually talked about that a couple episodes ago. And that could be interesting if they put the eShop on the Azure servers. Maybe they use some of the cloud streaming capabilities that they've been building to run some Switch games on the cloud using the work between Microsoft and Rainway and Nintendo, because Rainway was originally going to do all this stuff for Nintendo back in the day. Who knows? Next up, Will and Drew's Gaming Retrospective says, why not Splatoon on Xbox? Which Japan Lover 79 replied, you, sir, are a genius. Now, I do have a small problem with that. Xbox needs gyro gaming, needs those gyro controls. Without it, Splatoon would be incredibly hard to play. I know a couple of people that have tried that other methods. It's just not good. Whenever you're trying to spread ink, man. Next up, Zelda for Elders podcast says, sometimes a switch on a shelf is just a switch on a shelf. But when it belongs to Microsoft's gaming EVP, we hope it means a more powerful Switch with Xbox Game Pass titles. Then again, in a perfect world, we see a copy of Breath of Wild 2 on our own shelves and soon. I like that one. Very nice. So Omega C jumps in and is trying to get a hold of the rumors. Let's go ahead and hop over to the next set of replies. Over here we see that Harley Bashaw at Riders Flood says, thanks for the shout out. Usually I don't trust anything but the official word. So I'll be interested to see if anything officially actually comes out of this. It's great to see Microsoft and Nintendo collaborating like they have, and Sony should follow suit. Nerds Amalgamated says, Master Chief will be in Smash Brothers and will be an Easter egg. That has some credence. I've actually seen that one quite a bit lately, that you could potentially see maybe Master Chief going over there. That would be interesting to see. Next up, we have Hallowed by the Game, which is a stream on YouTube. It says Persona 3 will be remade and announced this year. That would actually be cool. I'd be cool with that. Next up, Rowdy talks about his. If the rumor does come true, I doubt it'll be Game Pass or xCloud on Switch. I bet it's some kind of Nintendo and Rare team-up, maybe a remake. Basically the same thing. He wants Conker's Bad Fur Day, right? Michael Auditore says, no, 100% no. Xbox don't need to Nintendo to make anything about Banjo or Conker. Same as they are not going to waste time and devs in making a game for the Switch. The only thing may be a team-up for GoldenEye. Nothing more from Rare. Matt Varish at VG Lore Podcast says, I honestly didn't know there was a rumor. And that's the thing. It's a rumor, but it's not a very well-known rumor. All right, guys. So next up, we have the GW Discord, who is jumping in on it too. So I love the amazing LSB's reply. He says, Iwata must be rolling over in his grave. I could definitely see that. Also, we have Shoulder, who always jumps in, says, I'm thinking Rare Replay and Halo MCC for the Switch. So a lot of people are pretty skeptical. Koenig also is very skeptical of this. Fried Shoe says Nintendo doesn't really gain anything by having the worst versions of Halo if that was actually to happen, but he wants them to actually put Master Chief in Smash. Mr. Chris also wants Master Chief in Smash. That seems to be a pretty common thing that people want. Then finally, we have the Texas Discord from the Texas subreddit, where we have Palf saying the prediction is it doesn't go through. So that is about it for bonus points this week. Who knows? Will we see something? Will we not? If you hear the episode, let us know on Twitter what you think is going to happen. If you happen to know a rumor, if you happen to know anything real, let us know. Now, guys, thank you for listening to the show. If you like the podcast, we appreciate you listening in. Please share the show with a lamer you know. We should be back on our every other week release dates. We have a couple of episodes coming down regarding Fidelity FX. I'm going to try to do a nerd alert on that. And we have some other things coming up soon. So keep on listening to the show, share it with the lamers you know, and if you happen to want to buy us a coffee, that's KOFI. Look for Lamer Gamers on coffee. All right, guys. Thank y'all for listening. You guys have a great day.